So what changed lately and why I'm doing these like 7-day things, 10-day things, especially about like Tech Breakaway, which I did do 7 days of successfully, and it was great. And I'm like, kind of what this is the reason why I'm doing another one in a way, but like this time I'm doing it like, I'm not going to get rid of technology. I've already gotten rid of the technology that's not good. What I'm going to get rid of is like the applications of those technologies that are not good. And what I realize is the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil is kind of how I'm evaluating each influence that comes into my mind. And yes, I have to go out into the world. I'm not going to be a monk. And I'm going to do a Vipassana meditation for 10 days, but I didn't get accepted into this week. So I'm going to do it in probably in in June. So I'm just doing the 10 days on my own, like self-authored, self-designed 10-day of like what I think would be best for me. And it's not going to be 10 days of silence and 10 days of meditation straight with nothing else in it. It's going to be me living my best life with the best applications of the best technologies, weeded out and purposefully. Everything's going to be done purposefully and planned out. And we'll see if I can execute it, but I have a plan for 10 days of what I'm going to read, what I'm going to listen to, what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to say to myself. And so what changed was, So what changed was I experienced something. The thing that I experienced was self-hypnosis in a way of me talking to myself while I was, you could say, stretching. My shoulders have been injured for a long time and have had a hard time like healing them. A lot of people get shoulder surgery to heal their shoulder. I knew I wasn't going to do that. But so what I did was I listened to Tom Brady's book, which gave me the idea of how to physically heal my shoulder by rolling a ball on my shoulder against a wall. And then I listened to, I don't remember this book. All right, so some of you may be curious as to why I'm doing these Tech Breakaway and 10-day self-hypnosis. Well, the reason is because I experienced a really powerful, fast success from the self-hypnosis that I've already done on the very first try that I tried it. And what I did was I took down a self-hypnosis method of like counting down. Okay, I got a dog barking over me, hold on. But the most important thing is like, why am I doing this? What brought this about was, number one, I realized I don't have agreements in place that I want to have agreements. I'm having some bad habits that I don't have. There's not even an agreement that it's a bad habit. I'm going to form that agreement and I'm going to quantify how much of it later. But first of all, I need to make sure that it's not an addiction. So I'm going to completely cut it out and I'm going to stick to that cutout. And then when I brought it back in, like with the Tech Breakaway, I did that for 7 days and I brought things back in. And it was like my life just went completely down, like, because I didn't have any limits. I was like, well, do it as much as you want now that you're not having any agreement that you're not going to do it. And I just went it went from like my life was like doing great to be like my life, I went way into these things. Like I binge watched tons of TV and then I was just like, okay, so I'm going to come up out of the cycle and I'm going to go to the top and then I wouldn't say keep it at the top, but I'm going to lower it to the right level that it needs to be at. And then that's going to be the hardest part, is to have some amount of it, but not let it get out of hand. And okay, so what brought that about? And so for me, what's been different about what I thought and conceptualized about reality is like my paradigm of reality is that self-hypnosis doesn't really work, that I can't just go into the unified field into like 5D and just manifest something out of thin air like really quickly. That it's kind of like always been like, yeah, I mean, there's something that's different about reality than what I used to think, because I used to think everything's like solid and just like matter and all that stuff. And I moved to like an energy paradigm like maybe a few years ago. And so I kind of had that paradigm, but it was like kind of like not my full agreement that yes, I'm going to live like this is really true. And it's hard for me to even believe in it, even though I totally believe it when I say, do I believe it? Yeah, I believe it, but like living the belief. So, I want to live the belief, and how that comes up in my life. Like, what am I doing in my life that shows that I'm living that belief? Is that I'm smiling at every single person as they make eye contact with me, to like watch their reaction to like my smile, versus if I just look at them, make eye contact, and I'm not glaring at them, but I'm not giving them a positive vibe that like, hey, it's safe to smile back at me, and yes, I like you. It's like sometimes I have a neutral stare down with people where they're like chicken, like who's gonna blink first, who's gonna look away first, or who's gonna be nice first. And I realized like I don't need to do that. I can just be proactively like smiling at every single person. A lot of you might be like, well, yeah, I do that already, and like, why wouldn't you do that? Well, it's kind of like, first of all, I don't know, like it's not as safe or something, like to like make an effort, or hey, why do I always have to make an effort? Like the other person can smile at me, or just coming at it like with a different mindset of like, hey, it's a challenge to like who's gonna like, you know, look away first. You know, it was like kind of how I first started doing it. It was like, well, are you gonna even look? One, I'm looking at you. Are you gonna look at me? Most people weren't even looking at me. And that was true in Puerto Rico. But here, like, most people look at me. So there's like a whole nother, I don't know, like the number of my sample size went way up every single time I step outside my door. Man, these are such long videos. So why am I even making these videos? Is one, just to kind of record it for myself, practicing getting out my ideas in brevity. I'm always practicing that. And two, just in case there's anyone out there that really cares, it's like, I wonder what RJ did. Like, I want to do some of the things that he's doing. I've always feel like this like obligation / duty. It's more of a duty than obligation. You think like it's like obligation, something you don't really want to do, whereas duty is like kind of a positive thing. But I've always felt this like duty to you guys to like, hey, if there's something positive or some knowledge that I have or some positive difference I can make, I feel a duty to post it. Because if I just keep it to myself, I'm like, either one, you're afraid to post it, or two, it's usually fear. Like, it's just like, or you're just like trying to keep all the gold for yourself. Like, why would am I just being selfish? Or it's like, oh, I'm afraid what they're gonna think, or I'm afraid they're not gonna care, or I'm afraid they think that I'm a know-it-all and like I'm better than you, or whatever. But so yeah, that's why I make these videos. Honestly, I make them, sometimes I don't post them and I just keep them for myself, but like hardly ever do I have the time to go back. So it's kind of a way for me to actually post the things that are important, and what I would decide to be brief enough that you'll actually watch, and maybe one person will take something positive out of it and listen to it and do it. And you know, if not, at least it's like a Instagram record where when I scroll through, I can find stuff easier than all the mass photos and other things that I have on my phone. So that's why I'm posting it. So say like, what is the main thing that I've been what is the main thing for me right now? It's like, what is the main thing that I'm doing? Self-hypnosis / like positive belief in my things that I was kind of doubtful on, is like I'm choosing to just believe in them and apply them fully and tell myself I believe in them. And I believe that it's gonna increase my belief to the point where I have 100% conviction in them. And I'm not allowing myself to be push and pull on myself anymore. Whereas before I had an agreement that's like some level of push and pull is like, okay, I don't know. I'm just weeding out the garden. I'm pulling these weeds up by the roots and throwing them out of the garden, so there's no weeds. It's just all what I plant in the garden. That's it. If something comes in, like some vine crawls over the wall, which is maybe a bad person, or not bad person, but like a bad event with another person that comes in my day, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm in it right now. Here we go. Present, stay calm, stay fair. Don't hide what I really believe is the truth from them, as far as like call them out on their bullshit if you think it's bullshit, but do it in a friendly, calm, easy, chill way. Don't do it in like a confrontational way. Watching my energy, knowing that it's all really just the energy of how I'm giving it off. Smiling more to people that I don't even need to smile at. And just being really proactive about like hitting this thing the right way, knowing that I'm really just energy. And so raising my vibration, raising my energy, and just allowing myself to like fully come into the most positive energy that I've ever had in my whole life. That's it. It's like, how much relaxing do you need, RJ? How much relaxing do I need? I need to relax while I sleep, and I can relax at other points in the day. Relax is actually just also the definition of that. What is that? Is watching TV relaxing? It can be, but I'd argue that it's kind of like not relaxing. It's not as relaxing as like meditation would be, or self-hypnosis would be, or just laying down and taking a nap would be. So, but I realized like I don't really need to relax during the day. I need to relax while I sleep at night, and I can allow myself to relax by meditating or doing self-hypnosis, and then just sitting down and like watching TV. Same thing, I'm gonna do some stretching as I like edit my video. Like it's like kind of like always asking myself, like, if I'm gonna do this thing, what else can I do while I'm doing it, and how would that look? Versus if I flip-flopped them. If I was like, if I'm doing the other thing, but I'm gonna try to do the item 1 while I'm doing the item 2, or if I'm doing item 2 while I'm doing item 1. An example of that is like calling while I'm getting a massage, or getting a massage while I'm calling. Just think about both. Like, how would it look differently if my focus is really primarily on getting the massage? Then I definitely don't want. So what I noticed was my spine was out of alignment, and I noticed that from hanging. So when I would get down from hanging, when I would release the hang, my back would naturally be like in its more straightened / slightly arched posture. And when I would land, I'd be like, okay, this is like how I need to be usually. And yeah, so that's how I realized it. And also, I've noticed that I don't even have these things ready to go. Second thing about posture is that I've really noticed that I should never be in any one posture very long. And because one person said, like, I said, like, I want to improve my posture, and he's like, well, the first thing you realize is whatever posture you're in is probably not the one you should be in. Just get out of, always take on a different posture every time it comes to your brain. Like, always change your posture. It might be you're laying down and then you should sit. And if you're sitting, then you should stand, and, rotate these around. But also, like, having the correct posture of whatever, position you want to be in. And correct, just means really be mindful of like how your spine is and how your shoulders are and where is the weight sitting, and like, I don't know, I had some agreement that having good posture was also like egotistical, or gonna come off as vain, or gonna come off as like trying too hard to look tough or whatever it might be. But also realize when I don't have good posture, it just looks like no one thinks about it like I think about it. They look at me if I have good posture and they just don't notice anything. It just looks normal to have good posture. Or they might go, oh, he has good posture, but like they're not gonna go, oh, he's an arrogant asshole because he has good posture. But that's kind of what I worried about. Like, also, like, when I dropped down from that hang, I noticed that my spine was like so squished down, and I'm also like kind of like this a lot, and I would get used to being on the computer and just staying more directly up. It's like so healthy. Like, it even feels better when I let myself do it the right way. And just like noticing, like, get rid of the shame of having good posture. Like, sometimes I'll be talking to people and it's almost like I'm afraid if I like stand up tall to talk to them, like they're gonna think like, wow, it's kind of rude of him or something. I don't know why I think that, but yeah, somewhere maybe I think that about other people, or I don't know, but like, no one ever taught me how to stand. My grandma, one time I remember her being like, we were in the kitchen, she's like, I was probably like 16, and she's like, stand up straight. And like, kind of like, she said it like irritated kind of, and I don't blame her, because I was like, that's how I normally, but realizing like, wow, when I touch my back, like in what's for me a normal posture, it's like, this is not healthy to keep my spine like curved like that all the time. Like, I need to overarch it just to get it back to like normal now. I have all these like little agreements that I'm noticing that I didn't really notice. Like, I shouldn't be taking videos because I don't want to edit all these videos. I shouldn't take long videos because then I'll have to edit them. It's like, no, I don't have to edit them. I'll post them without editing them, and then people can watch them or not watch them. Like, I don't even care. Like, partly I feel like I should try to make my content as efficient as possible and get really good at being brief and get good at editing it down. And sometimes I put some videos in and make that effort and do that, and that's great, but like, I don't have to do that. Definitely I should not take a video because I don't want to edit it, or because I don't want to post it. Like, still take the video, then decide, what you want to do with it. I noticed this is usually a pretty good way for me to like get my thoughts out on paper, but it's not on paper. So I shouldn't say it like that. I was just getting it on record. And there's a process that I have now that I should put everything through, which is basically to upload it to this one AI video editor and then take the clips out of that and put them on YouTube or in my own private YouTube somewhere, or whatever, my own private video player, app. Maybe not YouTube, but maybe like Vimeo or one of these. Just so it's there and just so it's not like buried away or make a folder for it and put it in a Dropbox. But like literally I don't make videos to like not show people. I make videos so I can show people. I mean, I don't only make videos to show people. I make videos to record things just to like have a record of it. But like generally if it's worthy of recording, it's worthy of sharing, like don't not share something because you don't think it's worthy. Like whatever, let people decide what's worthy and what's not worthy. It's not my job to decide that. I'm taking the content because I think it's meaningful, so obviously I should post it. Yeah. I'll say another agreement that I wrote down this morning in my journal was like, I have a bad habit of allowing negative agreements with my body healing, or not having a positive agreement about I'm going to heal my body. Like the lack of that agreement and belief leads to not believing it and not making an active focus. Even though I do a lot for my body, I'm like, I've just accepted this chronic back pain, this chronic back tightness, even though I'm always like, it could get better. I could eventually get it better, but it's like I haven't put a focus on right now I'm getting it better and it will get better. I haven't made that step. Why? I don't know. But I noticed that, so I'm doing it now. But I think one reason why is because I always said like, there's always a little bit of a doubt, like can I really do it? And because it's like I don't fully believe that I can do it, when I don't really feel like doing the action that it would require, it's like it lets me off the hook. And I think that's the key, because we're going to be in moments of like, I don't really feel like doing that stretching right now or whatever it might be. I don't really feel like it. Leads to it's okay to not do it because I don't have full belief that by doing the action it's going to actually fix and give me the result anyway. Same thing with like if I have an agreement I want to make money by making solar sales and making phone calls and booking solar appointments and then making the sale from those appointments. If I don't have the belief that by making calls I'm going to book an appointment, then when I don't really feel like making calls, it's like, it's okay because I wasn't going to book an appointment anyway. It probably wouldn't have worked. It's like, I'm not making that negative belief to let myself off the hook, but that negative belief serves to give me a good excuse in the moment where I don't really want to make the calls. It lets me off the hook anyway, because it's like, not really, it's like this weird thing that you let go through your brain where you're like, okay, I was probably going to fail anyway, so, why try? It's like, what? No, I can't have that in my head. I can't have that agreement anymore. I canceled that agreement. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to do it because I know the action is a good action. And I know if I continue to do a good action, I'm going to get a good result at some point. Okay, the most important agreement about time, I have time. That's my most important agreement. I don't care what it is, if it's a good thing, and I've decided it's that action, that activity or that action is worth doing, it's worth the time that it takes to do it, then I'm going to do it, and I'm also going to have time to do it. I'm not going to say to myself, for instance, something good like going to the gym, I don't have time to go to the gym, or something as short as flossing my teeth, I don't have time to floss my teeth, or which is a little bit harder to pick up on, but like I'm not going to take the time to do it because it's not that important. No, it doesn't matter if it's important or not important. If it's good, I would say like these things are important. It's just like maybe not doing it one time isn't that important, but that's what really messes you up. Is like, that one time I can skip. No, like you're not going to skip anything anymore because that leads to the slippery slope. So every single time is important, and even little things, like if you decided they're important, you have time to do them. So here's the rule about prioritization. What rule and what is my agreement about how to prioritize? One, I do the things that I really don't want to do first. You prioritize the heaviest rock first. I've let myself get away from that. I'm not going to let myself get away from that anymore. If it's the hardest, most dreaded thing, I'm doing it first. Doesn't matter how long it takes, especially if it's short. Second, after you do the things that are really like you really want to avoid, the next way that I'm prioritizing is by how long it'll take me to finish it, so that I can get as many things finished as possible. And third, it's going to be like, how important is it? Like, obviously, if it's really important, it's going to get done that day. It's not going to get totally put off to the next day. But I have like definitely many days where I've like gone to the gym and I've stretched and I've done all the physical things. Like even today, it's like 6 p.m. and I haven't done any work today. All I've done is like cook and like clean and organize and go to the gym and stretch and do all the things that are like the daily habits. I have to do this every day. That I definitely am happy I spent my day doing these things, and it's fine that it's 6 o'clock at night and I haven't done any work today, because I know that on a normal other day, like it's gonna happen. But that's also like what it is right there. It's like, it's okay if it didn't happen today. It is. In this case, it is. But that's why I'm going to prioritize the way I'm prioritizing. Is first thing I'm doing is the things I didn't want to do, and I did that today. I bought the water and bought the groceries before I let myself go for the run and do the fun thing of going to the gym. For me, that's a fun thing. Another agreement that he says in his book, Joe Dispenza, which is just like super huge realization to really agree with, and then also like, okay, I agree with it, but how do I do it? How do you implement that? What does that actually mean? Well, first of all, what it is if you want to change your personality to change your personal reality. Your personal reality is your personality. And like, if you want to change your personal reality, you got to change your personality. How do you change your personality? You change your personality by changing your energy. And so changing your energy is about what do you put into your body that gives you energy or takes away energy, and what agreements are you having? Like, what thoughts are you arguing with yourself? What agreements do you have about yourself and who you are? So it's forgetting about who you are in a way and like letting go of that identity, and then being able to influence what that identity actually is. So yeah, I have agreements about who I am, and I have agreements about what I'm gonna do. And a lot of this stuff I've been talking about is like the agreements about what I'm going to do and what's worth my time and what's important and how to prioritize it, and agreements about what will work and how well it will work and if I can do it and can I continue to do it. Like, these are all super important agreements to look at with the things that you're trying to do with your actions, the habits you want to form, the positive habits, and also getting rid of the negative habits. But fundamental, even more fundamental and even more primary is like, what are the agreements I have about myself? Whether it's something that's good that I should go, okay, good, this is a check box. Like, I feel good about how I look for the most part. There's things I don't like about how I look, but overall I feel pretty good about how I look. But overall I'm not as happy with like how I am as a personality, and I think that I've had my challenges exist because of my personality, and he agreed with that totally. So it's kind of like, I know I need to improve my personality if I want to improve my personal reality. I know I can do so much to improve my personality. I know that. Even though I think I have a good heart, I also struggle to express myself in the right way to other people, to the point where they like me or they are attracted to me, as far as like magnetically, like they want to, have me as a friend, or they want to listen to me, or they want to be around me. I'm not talking about dating, but that is a category of that, is like, for dating also. But it's all these agreements too that I have. Okay, I'm gonna do another one. A lot of agreements I have about making new friends or meeting new people, or how that personality is supposed to actually help me in my life, like however that would play out. I have these other agreements that are in place about that I don't want anymore. I'm going to cancel a lot of these agreements. Like, I can't talk to people at the gym because people don't want to be talked to at the gym. Like, yes, they do. There's a lot of people that go to the gym because they want to meet people at the gym. And there's some people that don't want to be bothered that particular point in time at the gym. And there's some people that go there and they don't even want to talk to anyone the whole time they're there. But there's people there that do want to be talked to, and the only way you're going to know is if you go up to them and talk to them. And it's okay if you bump into people that don't want to talk to you. Like, I should not talk to anyone just because I have this agreement, like, well, you can't talk to people at the gym. It's like, yes, you can, absolutely. Or at the coffee shop. These are two places that, like, I'm meeting strangers. It's good to talk to people that are in those two places. Like, I've had success doing it lately, and I'm changing my mindset about that. ultimately what I've been trying to do for a long part about my life, and this also speaks to like what I really value or what I think is valuable that I want to give to you, whoever's watching, anyone really, anyone who's not watching too, is that I want to live the best day I possibly can live, and I want to do the best life that I can. I want to have a string of pearls. Every day is a pearl on a necklace, and make a really good necklace of a lot of really good successful days. And what I decide is like it makes a successful day is the things that I value and the vision that I have. But like, I value that. There's a lot of people that probably don't even care about that. They don't think about that, and that's not what they're focused on, and that's not what they're here to do. But for me, I know it's been a major mission in my life to like design the best day, to think about how to achieve that design, and notice things that are holding me back from achieving that design, innovate and optimize those things, and add other things in. As I learn, I'm always learning and recalibrating that idea, but that's fundamentally what is super valuable to me. How do I go about thinking about those things, and like why do I choose the things that win in my day, or how I go about doing the things that I choose to do in my day, is based on maximizing energy. It is based on maximizing health, because I know that that's like a foundational thing to my energy is my body, but also it's things I'm learning about and thinking about as like what is true about me right now is like my personal reality. And I think that's like a focus that I'm going to be going into in this 10 days is like really auditing that personal reality. Like, what is my personal reality? What are those agreements that I have about what's true about my current situation? And also the agreement of like yes, I can go into the future reality of like and tell myself that I have that now, and that doing that action of like being present to what I actually don't have quite yet, but believing that it will come true, and saying, hey, it's already come true, and doing those affirmations, that does matter, and that is worthwhile, and it will work. It will work. That's an agreement that I've recently really, I'd say, made a lot of ground on, because I've had it for a long time, but it hasn't, like I said, I've doubted it to a certain extent. Now I'm not doubting it as much, and I'm putting more focus on personal growth right now for whatever reason. One thing that I've realized has changed or has improved or has worked for me is dreaming. I've been able to have more dreams. Almost every night I had dreams because of the self-hypnosis tape and meditation that I did right before bed. And I think also limiting a lot of the negative things that I'm doing in the day, like so I don't have as much negativity that I'm filtering, then I'm able to remember my dreams because I'm not suppressing the dreams that I have that might be nightmares. That's what I think also is happening a lot, whereas like now I'm not having as many nightmares, so I'm able to remember my dreams because they're good ones, or they're at least neutral ones. And like I said, the reason I'm able to remember them now, I think I said it, was because I did this meditation / self-hypnosis thing at night as I'm falling asleep, and it talks to me in my sleep in a positive way for like 2 hours. All these good things continue to go in my ear, and I'm not watching TV. And I think that actually has really led to a really much higher quality sleep as well, because a lot of times I'd have the TV on YouTube and it would just keep doing like whatever videos come up, and I'm like sleeping through that, and it's impacting me. Whatever it is kind of like making me not sleep as well. So I'm improving the quality of my sleep also in the last week and a half. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about money and financial agreements, mental agreements. One is just like, I think this is one of the hardest things in my life right now is money. It's because I haven't made money in a long time, and I have a limited amount of it like everyone else that I actually have right now. That doesn't mean I'm agreeing to a limited mindset is like I'm only going to make so much money in my life or any of that stuff, but I'm just like right now I have this amount of money. Start over. So the financial monetary agreements that I'm looking at, that I'm auditing, that I'm noticing is that like something negative judgment on myself because I'm not making as much money as I want to make. Some level of judgment about me and all my past and all the things that I haven't accomplished because I don't have money or don't have as much as I want to have. That I'm calling myself irresponsible, that it's like I shouldn't be doing these things, but also I'm happy that I'm doing these things. Like, I'm happy that I moved to Asia. I'm happy that I'm writing a book. I'm happy that I'm still taking the entrepreneurial risks that I'm taking, even though I probably, in my old mindset about money, I wouldn't have taken. Because it's like, no, you should go earn that money first and then do it. Another main idea that flows into money, but also flows into other things, it kind of crosses a lot of areas, is worrying about the big rocks versus a little rock, and not making distinctions in the, like on the fly, like especially with money. So for instance, like if I get a haircut, I just got a haircut yesterday, and he cut my hair and then he charged me $5 for my haircut. I don't know why I just went like that, but I was like, I like the haircut. Before I went in, I decided like the most I'm gonna pay is $5, and I should just pay $5 for a haircut, regardless of what their price. If the price is lower, I should just pay them $5, because like I have enough money to pay. You know, like I can afford a $5 haircut. Like, I don't need to always get, here's the agreement, I don't need to always get the best deal I can possibly get. And by nickel and diming people, that's the energy that I'm putting out in the world, and that's the energy that's going to come back to me. So the people are going to nickel and dime me. And so like my agreement now is I'm not going to nickel and dime people. If it's a nickel and dime type of, you know, it's a small rock financial transaction, like I'm not going to worry about getting the best price I can get. Not the best price I can get. I'm going to get like a price that's doable for me, but like if it's a small transaction, and pretty much any price is going to be doable for me, I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to negotiate it. I'm not going to see how good of a deal I can get and just, you know, pay the minimum. I'm going to just pay what I think is fair, regardless of what the actual number is. And I'm going to have the honor to like tip them that extra amount. So that's agreement. You know, if it's a big rock, then yeah, you can look at it and you can maybe negotiate it, because like it's important, you know. But that doesn't mean that you need to get the best deal you can possibly get on it. It just means that, you know, you set a number. Here's what I said I'm going to do with that. If it's a big rock financial transaction, here's what I've agreed that I'm going to do. I'm going to write down on a piece of paper how much I'm prepared to spend, and I'm going to write or have in mind, like, if it's important, yeah, I should write it out. This is what I'm going to get for the amount of money. I'm going to get this delivered, and I'm going to give up this much money for it. And then whatever their price is, like if their price is lower, great. You know, as long as I'm getting what I'm getting, I'll take that. If I'm not getting what I'm going to get, then I won't buy it, because I probably shouldn't negotiate it upwards with like, give me more services or higher quality. That's probably not what they're set up to do. And if it's over my price, I'm going to obviously say, well, this is the most I'm going to pay, or, you know, can you give it to me for even a lower number than what I would pay? Just give me some wiggle room in the negotiation. And I will, like, you know, I guess do my best to negotiate the price. And on a bigger rock transaction, I think that's okay. But also, like, I'm not trying to get it as low as possible. That's not my goal, to get it as low as possible. So, because I think about what I, like, I'll explain it later, but that's the ultimate, like, conclusion with that. Just, this one's just about time. Like, yes, I have time if it's good, but I'm going to go into detail right now about what I have time for that are really important. Journaling every day I have time for. I have time for stretching. I have time for self-hypnosis. I have time for affirmations. I have time for exercise. I have time for yoga, and I have time for calisthenics, ab work. If I'm doing exercises, I have time to do my abs. A lot of times I skip my abs. I just like, oh, they're already pretty good. I don't need to do abs. Like, no, I have time to do abs. I'm going to do them. I have time for all the things that I wrote down like that. You know, I have time for healing my shoulders with the ball. I have time for stretching after my workout and before my workout, and doing the roller ball every single time I work out. Those three things will happen. I'm going to do basically pre-roller ball, do the workout, post-roller ball, and then stretch. And sometimes I'll do stretching beforehand too, to some extent. And I have time for that. I have time to drink water. I have time to stop and drink water. I have time to get organized and get everything set up. That was another one. It was like, I don't have time to like open my curtains and open my doors and get air in my room. Like, no, I have time to set up my room, to set up my space before I begin the project, get the space set up. I have time for that. I think also, I don't know if other people ever think about this, but for me, I'm always thinking like, I definitely don't want to manipulate anyone all the time. I'm always like, well, that would be manipulative if I do that like that. And it's like the most basic things that are not even really that manipulative, but it's just like knowing human nature and admitting this is human nature. So I'm going to optimize based on what I know about human nature. And I had an agreement that I wouldn't do that. So I'm getting rid of that agreement. Like, I'm going to do what I know to be effective, even though it's like, I don't have any obligation to show all of my cards all the time, right? That's kind of like what my agreement was before. It's like I have to just always be, honest Abe with all my cards. It's like, no, with strangers I don't have to. I mean, I can preserve mystery, and I can. So for instance, as an example, like I had an agreement I wasn't going to end the conversation first intentionally. Sometimes I would end it first because that's when I want to go, but now I'm intending on ending it first. Another one like that is like my agreement with texting people back at a certain delay or lack of delay. Really, it was like I had an agreement. I was like, if I see a message, I'm just going to reply when I get it. Now I'm not going to try to gameplay anyone. But now it's like I'm going to take a long time to reply, not on purpose because I want to take a long time to reply, but because I'm actually not trying to text at all. I'm not even going to be looking at my phone as my goal for like many, many hours. So, but also, even if I did, like I don't have an obligation to reply to people as fast as possible, especially new people that don't value me, that haven't proven that they're not going to ghost me or whatever. So like, I know that I need to make myself scarce to pretty much everybody because people get overloaded by me anyways. A lot of people get overloaded by me. Even my parents get overloaded by me. Even my brothers and sisters get overloaded with me. So it's kind of like, I know I overload people, so I need to make myself scarce so that I don't overload people. But that doesn't mean that I can't post something up on YouTube and like, hey, if you want to watch the whole thing, watch the whole thing, But with my real life IRL, like meetings with people and texting with people and phone calls with people and, in real time, like I need to make myself scarce to some extent. To the extent I think is the right balance. That's it. I have an agreement to always be appreciative to people. If I have an appreciative thought in my mind, I'm going to share that appreciative thought. 95% of the time, that's true. But if it's like, okay, for example, like one thing I maybe wouldn't share, it depends on the person and like how comfortable, how long I've known them, whatever. But it might be like, hey, I'm glad that she called me, or I'm glad that she texted me, or I'm glad that she's hanging out with me, or I'm glad she decided to meet with me or have dinner with me or whatever. Like, I'm not going to say thank you for that because it's like, it's not a favor that she's doing me. She's doing it because she wants to do it, and I'm happy about it, but I don't need to say thank you for that. Even though I feel grateful, I don't have to share that I'm grateful about those things. But in a little nuanced part of that is like, if they, did something nice or congratulated you or helped you or brought you something, or, it's like something you didn't have to do and they did it for you to be nice to you, then be grateful for it. Share it. That is actually one, I would say, violation of like the golden rule, because generally I apply the golden rule, I hold the golden rule, I believe in the golden rule, and I'll do unto others as I would hope that they would do to me. And so like, that's just the one nuanced where I don't do that is like with texting. Like, I hope they'll reply to me right away, so I'll reply to them right away. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Some people would just reply right away kind of people, and other people are not, and some people don't value that much, so they don't reply to you right away. They reply to other people that they value more, and until someone's valuing me and doing that, and I'm close to them, and we have like a relationship and I know they're not just gonna be disappeared from my life in the next month. Then with someone I'm confident that's gonna be around, then I will do that. Because I think actually doing it is like shooting myself in the foot. It's not that I'm not willing to, or that they're not worth it or something like that. It's more like they've got to earn it. Like, some things in life other people have to earn from me. That's just true. I can't just be giving everything away for free, essentially, or like they've got to earn it. There's some level of things. I believe that that's a good agreement with everyone to have, is like, I've got to earn certain things from other people. They've got to earn certain things from me. Yeah. Okay, I remembered. Calling people out on what you think about them as you think it, and not being afraid to tell them okay, so this is what I'm noticing, or this is what I think might be happening. Like, put the onus on them and give them an opportunity to like tell you that's not what's happening. Like I didn't want to be confrontational in that way, or I didn't want them to know that I'm not 100% trusting, or I didn't want them to think that, mostly it's the trusting thing, like I don't trust you or something like that. But like, who cares? Like, who cares if they know I don't trust them? They're a brand new person to me maybe, and maybe I shouldn't trust them. Like I said, some things have to be earned. But like, there's ways I can do it with just like, I'm just stating what just happened. Like, it's almost like I'm afraid to tell them what I think just happened, or what I know just happened. Like, okay, now you're pointing this out about me, or now you're, whatever. It's like, no, I'm going to call that out. I'm going to speak that out. Like, call it out sounds a little bit like I'm going to like say something bad about them, but like, I think the trick is to how exactly to articulate that. That's just really the truth. That's the challenge. So I'm not going to back down from the challenge by just not doing it. I'm going to step up to the challenge and try to articulate it the best possible way. Because that has actually worked, and it actually earns me respect when I do it. And so it's like I'm taking the safe path that doesn't work, that I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. Like, yes, there was some fear there, like it was the easier path in a way, but it's also the harder path in another way. In the long term, it's harder. But it's like, mostly I'm doing it because I feel like it's somewhat maybe insecure to like call out things on people. Like, if I was really secure, I'd just be like, yeah, whatever, let it roll off, or you don't have to vocalize that, or you don't have to make that a point of contention. But like, I think I do in a lot of ways, and there's, not in a lot of ways, but in a lot of instances where I'm like, they're doing something that's kind of a Cold War type of a tactic, and I'm going to just speak, okay, it seems like this. Like, it seems like, or just asking them, is that this? Because then they're going to know that I'm not like stupid, Maybe it's not that I'm not stupid either. They're just going to notice like, okay, I respect the fact that he picks up on this and he's got the balls to say it. When I do actually have the balls to say it, and I definitely pick up on it because I'm a very perceptive, very intelligent. I put the pieces together. I'm not the quickest guy. I'm actually a very slow thinker, but I'm smart and I pretty much figure everything out. Not everything, like there's a lot of things I don't figure out, or I figure out way later than a lot of people. Like, my intelligence isn't, I don't know. I'm trying to recognize like I don't have like a big head about like, oh, I'm super smart and all, but like, I do think I'm very, very intelligent. I also know that my type of intelligence has some pretty big flaws and pretty big weaknesses as well. And sometimes the way that I'm like calling someone out on something is to be vulnerable and say, hey, like, I don't know if this is what's going on, but this thought occurred to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but, or, just whatever, like opening it up and doing it in a vulnerable way that makes it look like, I'm not covering up the fact that I'm insecure. Sometimes I just don't have the conversation because it's rooted in an insecurity for me. It's rooted in a lack of confidence about what I don't know them. It's like, I don't know them. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know if they're even doing that, but it's like, I can voice that, but I'm going to do it on the phone. I'm going to do it in person. I'm going to do it on video. I'm not going to do it over text. I'm not going to have these types of conversations over text. Another thing that I've had an agreement about is like realizing that I've been bullied in the past and I don't want to be bullied again. I've been fooled in the past and I don't want to be fooled again. So I know that this is sometimes where things are coming at and how I'm perceiving things. But I also have this like agreement where I need to like stand up for myself every single time, and I need to like not get fooled all the time. So it's a hard line, but it's kind of like, I think I'm finding the middle ground where it's like, I'm going to bring something up where I'm not going to like be a fool. At least they're going to know I'm not a total fool, but I'm also not going to allow myself to be bullied and just like, be Mr. Nice, too nice of a guy either. If someone's kind of like bullying me in a way, or someone's kind of like saying something mean to me, right? It's like, I don't know, bullying. It's just like something negative, something mean, something that's obviously not positive to me. Then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm in one of those moments and I'm not going to shy away from it either. that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a total dick and just hit them with every missile I can and try to like win or something. It's like not about that, but it's about standing up and having integrity for myself and what the truth is, and my truth of how I see things, and like a homing missile, trying to get to the truth with them if they're wanting to, but just not allowing myself to get run over anymore. And so previously I had this, I'm not going to get run over anymore, and so I kind of like come at them as like a competitor, like I'm going to fight a little bit with my words, or I'm going to be like, hit them back. I'm not going to necessarily hit them back, but I'm not going to like, hey, I can't hit you back. I'm just going to be like, okay, this might be a hit, but this is the truth from what I'm seeing, and I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it in a calm way and in a nice way if it's warranted to say it in a nice way. But if it's, they were rude to me, then I'm not going to like try to be nice to them back. I'm just going to say what I think in a very neutral way. I'm not going to get run over. Like, I'm going to be like this, not like this towards them, not like I'm coming at you to hit you if you're walking by me, but like, I'm also not going to be like, oh, you have the right of way. It's like, no, I have a right to be here too, and I was here first. And if you're walking into me, that's your problem. I'm standing here, like you can recognize that I'm standing here. And if you didn't, you bump into me and I look at you until you apologize or you acknowledge that it's like, you just ran into me. And if you don't apologize or you don't acknowledge it, I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, or let me move out of your way. It's like, no, I don't have to do that anymore. I never had to do that, but I don't have to have that agreement. Like now if it's an older lady or an older man or like a little kid, or and it's like, okay, watch out for the little kid. They don't see you, they're not aware of you. If this old lady, I'm not gonna be like, hey, watch out for me. But you know what I mean? But if it's someone that's like my equal / peer group area, they have an equal responsibility as I do. Like, we're both two human beings, that's it. And on that note, I've realized that like I have a thing about guilt. Like, this is my Catholic upbringing, maybe it's other things, I don't know. Maybe it's that I care so much, so I'm reflecting on all the things that I did badly all the time, and so I'm trying to always be my best, so I feel guilty about the things I don't do perfectly right. I know it has some things to do with my past relationships that I really wanted to work out, that I really regret not having had them work out, that I don't want to make the same mistakes again, and so I feel guilty about the mistakes that I made, and I feel really guilty about them because I actually have a lot of regret about those things. And it's okay to have regret. It's just, do you let the regret, I'm not dwelling in the regret, but when I think about it, I'm going to think about the things I did. Like, yeah, I regret doing those things. I'm always going to regret doing those things. Even if my life, like, takes, like, a, skyrocket and I end up with, like, the woman of my dreams, that's not going to change it. That's not why I regret doing the bad things. I did bad things and I regret doing bad things, like, period. It doesn't matter about the results I'm having now or the results I will have in the future. But just being aware of, like, guilt in my life, the way that guilt comes up in my personal reflections and personal reality and my personality, and shame, and both of those are really close. So, but just in that category of, like, I wasn't optimal, or I didn't do something right, or like, I shouldn't have done that. It reflects badly on me. It defines who I am because I wasn't able to like perform well right there in that heat of the moment. I didn't, I got in a fight, or I degraded, in my response to some level of contention where I could have kept a cool head, things like that. It's like, then I feel guilty about it later. It's like, I still haven't developed. I still like need personal work. I still have my own triggers, and then I feel guilty about it. And I feel guilty about it because it reflects badly on me, to myself and other people too. So this one's about I Am Multitudes. It's the name of the book. So the idea is like, boom, already hitting me, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And I've said it before in other videos, but what it means is I am not this one person. I'm not even this physical thing that you're looking at. I used to say like I am the watcher of the experience, but I'm not even the watcher of the experience. I am the energy that is experiencing it and drawing the experiences to it, that is flowing through the energy field. And having that as like my new paradigm. I am the energy ball. I am the energy ball that is able to witness other energies. And what does that even mean? I don't know. I'll have to think about how to explain that to you. So what we were talking about is like I am multitudes, and what that means to me is that I'm made up of a trillion cells. Something like that, actually, in reality. It's like there are more cells in my body than there are, like, I think it's stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy. By a lot. It's like 90 times as many. I have like 90 times as many cells in my body as there are stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy, which is like trillions of trillions. I mean, trillions of cells. And I think there's like 200 billion, I want to say. I think it's 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. I did the math on it. It's like not even close of a comparison. And so the takeaway from that, or the implication of that, is that I'm the director of it by having the awareness and by having the self-hypnosis intentionality behind my thoughts, and the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil agreement is like, I'm gonna harness and lead all of these multitude of trillions of little beings to manifest and direct and operate to their much more optimal level than what they're currently doing, to fix my back, to fix my shoulder, to fix my energy and my mindset and my smiling ability and how I interact with people. You know, it's like, if I can bring all these cells to focus and to have their mutual agreement with me when I talk to them, talk to my shoulder as a big unit, but talking to billions of cells right there, you know, to like, let's both agree to relax. We as a whole multitude need to relax. All right, this is the last video. I'm gonna put this first. I took a lot of little mini short videos today to try to like capture a lot of important things that have been stacked up for me over the last month, we'll say. New agreements I have, new blah, blah, blah. So what I'm asking from you is, if you watch them, and please watch all of them, but you know, I'm not expecting you to watch all of them, but if you like them and you're doing it and you're watching them, hit the heart button if you got something good out of it. Because I'm going to go through, I'm going to be like, how many people hearted each one and how can I prioritize them and put them in? What is, you know, help me filter these things to the top for like, should we prioritize and value as important? Please, I ask you this as a favor. Thank you. And I guess also, if you have watched my stuff, or if you haven't and you're seeing this or whatever, if you're just someone who's, whatever, what I'm asking is, give me some feedback. I would appreciate it. Like, leave an audio message for me and just be like, this is what I like that you do, this is what I don't like that you do. And don't worry, I mean, I'll just be honored if you give me some feedback. I'm not gonna hold it against you. I don't think you will do it in a mean way, but I'm asking for some constructive criticism / constructive positive feedback too. Is like, do more of this. I like what you do here. Also, I actually don't like that you do this, so try not to do this as much. Please. And you can, I don't even know how you do it anonymously. I know there's like some thing for that, like an app for that, but I would love any feedback you could give me. Thank you. Okay, I'm also gonna put this first or second, basically. I want to apologize to anyone if I've pissed them off, or if I did something that you don't like, or especially if I come across, I'll say this specifically, like, I'm sorry if I come across as an arrogant, proud, braggart, show off. I'm trying to be a positive influence, and as part of that, like, I think I need to show people I'm good at certain things to get them to listen to me and think I have something worth sharing. Maybe I don't need to do that as much or at all, but it's also not my intention. Sometimes I probably have been a show off. Sometimes I have been unabashedly a show off, and I think sometimes it's okay to be a little bit of a show off, or a lot of a show off if you don't do it that often. I think it's okay, but it's never been my intention to like overall be a show off type of person. I'm not trying to be a show off. I'm not trying to get attention or likes or, you know, comments as far as like to make myself feel good. In the beginning, it was really hard to post because I wasn't getting comments or likes, and I was like, oh, my shit's not good. People don't like me. I shouldn't post. And I had to overcome that. So I'm definitely not doing it for that, because I don't get a lot of comments and I don't get a lot of likes and I don't get a lot of views. So it's also just kind of like, okay, if I can help one person, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to also do it because this is all content I can maybe repackage in the future for someone who's really going to care about it and want it. But like, I apologize if anything that I do has come across as like an arrogant thing, or if I've been maybe too busy to reply to you, or I failed to reply to you, or I'm sorry. Literally, I'm trying to be a good person. I want everyone to like me, but I know not everyone's going to like me, and that's okay. But like, if there's something that you don't like about me, like, I'm sorry about that, honestly. And if you want to tell me what it is, like, honestly, I would try to be more likable. It just helps me, to be more successful, hopefully. But that's really my intention, is just to be a positive influence for people that want to gain something from me.